Hey, welcome back to the show. This week we are back at Jackson Falls, and I'm with Anton, but I wanted to do something a little different, and I thought what we'd talk about is projecting and how to project for kind of intermediate climbers. Working on a climb that's maybe right at your limit or just beyond, and something that you might be able to finish in a few hours or a day or a weekend. So for me, the hardest thing I've ever sent outside is a 10A. But in the gym, I've climbed 11 minus. So I was thinking, push past the 10A outside. Maybe it takes a couple of hours of top roping it, figuring it out, ticking the holds, and then, give it a send attempt. Now, what's the hardest thing you've sent outdoors?
I believe it was 11D.
11D, okay.
Or 11C.
Or 11C, so that's not too bad, right? And you'd be looking to push it to the next level. So, some of the techniques when we project a climb is to kind of tick the holds with chalk. So what I like to do is send the stronger climber up, this guy here, and then set up a quad anchor that I can top rope off of. Or if there's not a stronger climber, we'll just kind of move bolt to bolt. So do whatever it takes to get to the next bolt. That means pulling on gear, whatever. Get the route set, get the top rope set up, and then kind of learn the route as you go. And I think when I was here last time a couple weeks ago, people saw me, ticking the holds and brushing the holds, and they didn't know what I was doing, actually. They asked me, like, what are you doing? And so, I told them, when projecting a climb, when I project a climb anyway, I like to use stick chalk. I think some people use the chunky chalk. Who makes that, do you know?
Like just there's a bunch.
Like
there's
the Gorilla Grip.
Metolius has like the brick of chalk that you can buy that you crush up.
Right. And so I've seen some people use like pieces of the hard, chunky chalk. I actually just buy the Crayola non-toxic chalk sticks in a box. It's like $1 for a dozen pieces or something.
Like the stuff in kids' classrooms.
Exactly, right. And I think the key to ticking holds is not to just mark them, but I'll put a line in the direction in which they should be pulled on, right? So if it's side pull, you'll put, off to the side, right? It's an underclane tick up, right? So you know when you're looking at it how to grab it. And I think that's super helpful. As you're memorizing the sequence and moving from hold to hold, you don't have to figure it out on your send attempt.
Yeah.
For sure. So, the other very important thing is if you're going to be ticking up holds, a lot of people want on-site climbs. So, you don't want to ruin that for them by having, the holds all marked and they know where everything is. So, brushing is another key part of the process. Brush I use is Sublime climbing brush. Now, this is a brush that is made of boar's hair, which is kind of considered, I think, the best material. I think I've seen people use toothbrushes, but there's a really good reason not to use a toothbrush, and I'll tell you why. So, number one, this brush, as you see, has longer bristles at the front than the back. That's because typically when you brush, you're going to be on the front, so it'll last longer for that reason. The other...
It's not wearing down.
Right, so it'll wear the front down, and eventually it'll be flat, right? But it'll still, you just get that extra life out of it.
Yeah.
So Sublime Climbing brush. The other thing is, due to the shape of it, when you're brushing, because the handle kind of comes up, you're not like dragging your knuckles across a rock like you would with a toothbrush. And then lastly, I think it's really important to have a purpose-made climbing brush because most of them will use the boar's hair. If you use a toothbrush, it's nylon, right? And so, the bristles break. I mean, it's basically you can't see it, but you're leaving this nylon behind on the rock. or in the ground. I just don't think that's very eco-friendly. So, Sublime also makes a premium brush. I like this one better because of the shape. The premium one's kind of straighter. It has like a little screw piece. You can put some stuff in.
Okay.
Your magic dust for sending.
Oh
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so these are really good. Highly recommend them. And it's like $7 or $8. It's not an expensive piece of gear, right? If you've ever bouldered, you'll use a brush anyway. But if you are projecting sport climbs, boulder brush or climbing brush is a key piece of equipment, I think. So I'll put some links in the description to Amazon where you can get those. Definitely check them out. Then another key piece of equipment, in my opinion.
So just to circle back, you use this when you're coming down from a climb that you're projecting to clean off the tick marks.
Yes, when you're done. So brushing the route is the final step, right? Clean it up, brush your tick marks, so the next people that come along have a clean route to climb on.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of good form, courteous to the next climber who might be trying to on-site. And, different people have their different opinions on style, but a lot of people that climb is ticked up, they consider that beta, and now all of a sudden it's not an on-site, it's just a flash. So to each their own, but I get it. If on-siting is your thing, you don't want to know where all the holds are. You want to figure it out on the fly. It's part of the difficulty.
Yeah.
For sure. Another key piece of gear, in my opinion, because as a belayer, this is important climbing gear, right? Cleaning up after yourself. But if you're belaying someone who's projecting, you're going to be on the ground for quite a while, right? You're going to be looking up for quite a while. There are a lot of different companies now making these Belay Glasses. They have the prisms here, you can see, and what that does allows you to look straight but see up, and it's shockingly clear. You have a pair as well, right?
Yeah, I do.
Do you recall the brand?
It was some Chinese brand that I got from Amazon. It was a knockoff brand, but it works just fine.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cheap ones out there. Metolius just came out with the Upshot. They're pretty pricey. These are made by Y&Y Vertical.
I'm pretty sure I have
Y&Y
the same,
Vertical, sorry.
the same case. They came with the same case.
Yeah, so Y&Y Vertical makes a really high-end pair. They're like $60 or $70. This is the basic pair, and they're about $20. And I've been really happy with them. They fit really well. They really work fantastic. You get a clear image all the way across. Like, I kind of expected to see it kind of broke up and weird, but it's like a perfect image above you.
Yeah, show them. Like, I'll be waving up here. And
Yeah, you can try that. I'm not sure it'll work.
we'll see if I don't know. You'll have to see the video later to see if this works. Hello. I don't know. Maybe.
All right. So I think it's pretty important. The other thing is, so you can testify to this. When we first started today, so I always belay using an assisted belay device, right? It's just what I like to do. I use Mad Rock Lifeguard. A lot of people use a Grigory. You were belaying me with an ATC, which I don't have a problem with because you're an experienced climber. But at some point you switched over, right? So, I mean, my thinking for the reason to use an assisted belay device is, one, your climber is going to be up there a long time. You're going to have to be locked off a long time. Assisted belay device is much easier to lock off with a knot tied in front of it, so you don't have to just hold it the whole time. So I think it's pretty important. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, you switched, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty important stuff.
Yeah, it was necessary because I was when we were on the 11A, it was brutal holding that ATC, especially right after a climb when you're all burnt out and you have to hold that rope. Yeah, holding on the ATC is just Yeah.
Right. So a few key pieces of equipment, I think, to get you started. So, you know, tick your holds, brush your holds, push your limit. I think it's fun. You know, there are other techniques that people use when they're doing like really hard stuff, long-term projects that might take them months to finish. But, you know, for an intermediate climb, you can usually go down and spend the weekend and, you know, send something really hard, you know, which is fun. Although today we've just been getting shot down. So, yeah, we tried, Anton mentioned we tried an 11A. We tried a 10D, which I think if we'd have started with that, we probably could have sent that.
Yeah, for sure.
But we were a little pumped towards the end. That was a fun climb.
That 11A was not an 11A.
That 11A was tough. Oh, we tried a 10A. That was not a 10A. That was crazy. So I think, you know, you're not always going to get the sends. You got to kind of deal with that. You were getting a little frustrated. So I think tomorrow for second day, maybe step it back. I'm going to shoot for sending a 10B. I think that should be pretty straightforward. You know, this kind of gets to an important point. So when picking what you're going to project, you know, if you're really trying to push your limits, you want to pick something that plays to your strengths, right? Or pick a climb that, you know, has a defined crux and it's not just sustained at the grade the entire way, right? So, you know, so you get that hard send. You know, I think picking climbs is a critical part of the process.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Because if we had picked the 10D, that's a different type of 10D versus one that's crimpy. The 10D we were on was more slopey and juggy, but still hard moves.
Right.
Versus something that's crimpy with hard moves, then yeah, that's totally different.
For sure. So, hope that's helpful. You know, check out the video of us projecting. I'll have spliced it all in. Check out the links to Amazon for the brushes and the glasses. And one last thing, we've got beer to review. So, this one's a special one. All right, it is from Pollyanna Brewing Company in Lamont, Illinois. It is called Fun Size Milk Stout. So, oh man, that is something. Now, what this is a bourbon barrel aged Fun Size, which is they make Fun Size, which is just their milk stout. This is the bourbon barrel aged Fun Size with bourbon barrel aged coffee. Right, and it's made with, I believe it's a craft coffee. It's Smuggler's Coffee, right? So it's milk stout, has lactose to give it a little sweetness, a little creaminess. The bourbon is going to be good. This is a 7% ABV, so pretty pricey beer actually. You buy it by the can, but should be good. So let's give it a go.
My fingers are so toast. I can't even get my finger in there.
There you go.
All right. Cheers. It's almost chocolatey.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Okay.
It's got chocolate in it.
Milk stout.
So yeah, milk stout. So it's kind of like a Hershey bar that's been soaked in bourbon, right?
Yeah.
It's really good. This is tasty.
It's not terribly sweet, but it does have some sweetness to it.
The bourbon's not overpowering. Like on a lot of bourbon stouts, I've had a lot of bourbon stouts, and first of all, they can get a really high ABV, right? 12, 13% ABV. You know, they're really overpowering. They really got to be paired with food. This, I think, tastes kind of like a dessert with alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, check it out. Talk to you next time.